I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode number 46 of the Best Thing We've Seen podcast. My name is Flo.
And I'm Gabe. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm fine.
We got very raspy voices today, both of us.
Yeah.
Sore throats.
A bit, yeah, but I'm drinking a tea and it's doing wonders for me right now. How about you?
I'm not.
Well, I can only recommend it.
Thank you very much, yeah.
At this
The
point,
best
we're
thing
gonna
you've recommended in 46 episodes.
At this point, we're gonna take a break. Flo's gonna do a tea. It's gonna be a very relaxing episode.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Edition.
Right. How was your Christmas?
Oh, you were first. God damn it. Yeah, no good. I got a lot of pedals for my guitar pedal board. Well, I got a guitar pedal board, so that's very exciting.
It's great. I'm not exactly sure what that even does.
Well, it's effects. You plug in your guitar into these pedals, and they're just they're distorting the sound or like delaying it, adding reverb to it, stuff like that. Yeah,
that sounds pretty sexy.
Thank you. Yeah. Why do you think I wanted them? How about you? What did you get?
Some cold hard cash, and I'm very happy with it.
Yeah. Not no Blu-rays or anything.
Well, I'm gonna buy them with my cold hard cash.
Yeah.
I got my eye on a couple of Criterion collections that I would love to buy.
Since when did you buy into that? I thought you didn't even know what that was like a couple of months ago.
For a long time, I've known what that is.
That is not true. That is absolutely not true.
Yes.
No. Sound like Jeff Goldblum. Yes. Which ones do you want?
A couple of Japan cinema collections with Toshiro Mifune. There are a couple of good ones there.
Yes.
That you can't get in any kind of other collection, because that's the only Blu-ray release there are of these films, because they're like from the 50s and 60s.
So are you planning on buying them like through Amazon?
No, my brother found another site which I'm not sure what the name was, but you can buy a whole lot of Blu-rays, and they got a whole section of Criterion Blu-rays there.
Okay, because I was wondering how that, like with the new export things and stuff, it's going to be expensive now.
Yeah.
From the UK.
I have no idea, to be honest. I was planning to order them with my brother together in February, because he wants to get his hands on a couple of BBC documentaries.
Right. Very sophisticated family.
He's a smart boy. But yeah, I have no idea how it's going to go down with the whole Brexit thing and ordering things from there. I don't know if there's going to be a huge fee just by ordering that.
Yeah, I would assume
Blu-rays,
so.
but I have no idea, yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know Criterion, it's like the most prestigious form of Blu-rays. Like there's a whole, it's a company that restores old movies to perfect conditions, and it's just a very expensive hobby to collect the Criterion.
Yeah, very expensive, yeah.
But it feels like you're holding something valuable.
The art is always beautiful.
Yeah.
There's also a Criterion collection of Wolf and the Cub. It's an old, I think, TV show or a series of films, Japanese films, and they restored them, and they got this beautiful, like, comic-like art on the cover that they just created for the Criterion collection. It looks so cool.
Right. Yeah, well, they're very talented people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think they hire like external, like third-party people to design the, like they don't just have one guy who designs every cover. It's like someone else, not every time, but every couple of times.
Get some cool artists there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What are your plans for New Year's then? Do you know?
Well, I don't know.
It's going to be difficult this year.
Yeah, because there's going to be there's another hard lockdown in Vienna. There's not a whole lot you can do.
Yeah. No, Matt,
just
maybe you got like a movie picked out or something. I don't know.
I'm not sure yet. I'm just gonna pray for a better year, I guess.
The atheist is praying.
Yes. Don't
What
say
a
that
year
too loud,
it's been.
My grandparents might
The
listen.
atheist is praying.
But yeah. I don't know. What are you planning to do?
I
Is there
have no
anything you can
idea.
do?
No, it's very annoying this year.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, we'll just have to get drunk and in solitude.
In solid, I thought you said insulted, but in solitude, yeah.
Dude, I can insult you before December 31st if you want
Perfect.
to.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
What I wouldn't do for a friend.
Right, let's get into it.
Yeah,
Interesting episode. Wait, this is the last episode of the year.
it is. It's
Isn't
kind
that
of crazy,
something,
isn't it?
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
we'll talk about things from 2020 next week as well. Just like because it's
Yeah,
like,
of course.
need to watch for something for next week too. But yeah, this is the last episode that's going to come out in 2020, and obviously we talked about it last week. We have a major release this week with Disney's or Pixar's movie Soul. But we'll get to that later. I don't know if that's your pick. I don't know if that's my pick. Actually, I do know if it's interesting.
We'll see.
But let's start with some honorables. Maybe you want to tell everyone how the show works, and then you want to start us off because you told me you got a lot of honorables.
Yeah, because this week we got another regular episode planned. That means we're going to talk about the best thing that we've seen all week. And I wish I had a camera because I'm doing this weird hand motions while I'm talking. I don't know why. Very dramatic right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about the best thing that we've seen all week, meaning everything that's been released in like the last couple of months. So something fairly new, and it could be anything from a TV show to a movie to even a YouTube video. And yeah, we're just going to count down our best pick by first mentioning a couple of honorables. And as always, we have no idea what the other person's pick is going to be. So it's going to be exciting. And I'm going to start off this episode just by talking about The Mandalorian, the season finale. Because
okay. Yeah.
you talked about it on last episodes.
Yeah.
On the last episode. And I finally gotten around to watching it. And the hype is out of this world for this episode.
Yeah.
After you told me, I looked it up, and on IMDb it's got like a 9.9.
It does.
Things like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it's a pretty good episode. It's not that good, to be honest.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. And I don't know why, but I expected what would happen at the end.
Because you saw it coming.
Yeah, just I had it in my head even before before I got to that scene. Because you told me that it's so crazy and people loved it, I was like, in my head, what would be the craziest thing Disney could do?
And I
was right.
Is that the craziest thing? I mean, I
Kind
guess.
of.
Sure.
But it's pretty cool. And it's, I don't know, I'm very excited to see where they can take it from there.
Yeah.
And how much of an impact this is going to have on season 3, which I think is going to come out next year. So
I don't know, but yeah, maybe. Is it already next year? Maybe.
I think so. I mean, it's a difficult thing to talk about because it's the season finale. It's not the show as a whole.
Right.
But we've talked about it before at least 2 or 3 times. So just check it out.
What did you think of the CGI?
I wasn't very convinced.
It looks
to be
weird,
honest.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got this
They still-
uncanny valley kind of thing, which it looks kind of real, but not real enough.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to suspend your disbelief there because you know it's not real, right?
But I've seen effects like that, I think, done better.
Yeah, it's weird. They haven't quite nailed that yet. What was the best? I mean, that would spoil it. Okay, never mind. What else you got?
Something else that you talked about. Jesus,
so
losing my
honored.
voice.
Is this a recap of my picks last week?
Yeah. Things that I loved that Flo told me about.
Thank you.
Perfect.
What a segment.
The other thing is the Sam Morril stand-up special, which you talked about on last week's episode, which is a YouTube video. He did his own YouTube channel, Sam Morril, and I think this is the first or second video that he ever posted. So the YouTube channel is it's just a couple of weeks old by now. And it's pretty good. Sam Morril is a stand-up comedian that we've also talked about before. I showed him to you, and I told you how much I enjoyed him the first time I saw his special, because he's got one other special on YouTube, on the, I think, Comedy Central YouTube channel. And he's a pretty funny comedian, but this special wasn't as good as the one before that. I think it's also got to do with the mood. I think you also told me that you didn't finish it.
Yes.
And I think it is funnier when you see the other special just because it's in a real like club or stand-up bar. And you got a better audience for that. But the stand-up special is, like you mentioned on last week's episode, filmed on roofs. And it's got a very small crowd due to COVID restrictions. And I think they took everybody's temperatures before they started. And pretty much everybody's wearing Jesus, losing my voice again. Wearing a mask.
It's one of the most popular features of every week's episode.
Losing my voice.
Yeah. You losing your voice.
It's my gimmick. Yeah.
You fake it so well.
Thank you. But yeah, just due to that, the audience isn't that, I don't know, into it, I guess, and there's less laughs, and it's kind of pieced together from different sets. So he's telling one joke and you can see the background and his clothes changing, so you know he's doing it over the course of a couple of days. And it's quite funny, especially the closing story. The anecdote is just great. But all in all, it's not as good as the special before that.
I thought it was quite weird that they cut so many times between, like, as you say, clothes, but that meaning like evenings or whatever, or like different days. It felt like weird to just jump around all the time. Yeah,
I was wondering if they just took the best takes from every joke. Then I was wondering if that is the best take. Well, I feel kind of sorry for him because a lot of times the jokes kind of felt a little flat.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think it's a great idea to do it for free and post it online. But
yeah, I mean, he does a podcast too, doesn't he?
I just saw with Mark Norman, right?
Right.
Yeah, I just saw one video. Is it his podcast or is it Mark Norman's
Everyone's
podcast?
jumping on our train these days. No, I think it's their podcast together. I think so.
Oh,
I think there's only like 3 episodes or something like that.
Interesting. Maybe I should check that out as well. But
are you a fan of Mark Norman?
There are a couple of jokes. I've watched a couple of his stand-up routines, and there are a couple of jokes that I kind of like. But all in all, he's not my kind of comedian, I guess.
Yeah, he's hit and miss for me, but he hits rather well sometimes.
Yeah,
I think he's pretty funny.
And my very last honorable mention is a movie. I've done all 3. I've done a YouTube video, I got a TV show, and now I got a movie.
Perfect.
As an honorable mention.
Yeah,
and it's A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which is might be like a year old if you take like the American release, but the thing is, it's never released in Germany or Austria. So the German version, I think it went straight to DVD back in November.
Yeah,
as far as I could see on IMDb. So I'm gonna count this as something that came out in the last 6 months.
You should.
But how you want to take it?
Yeah, we didn't have any
way of watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just released very recently on Amazon Prime, and there's a kind of winter sale, I think, on Amazon Prime, so you can rent the film for about 2 years, which is a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, we've talked about the director once before. It's Morril, who is an actress in Queen's Gambit, as you pointed out.
Yes.
And in the supporting role, not leading role, you got Tom Hanks playing Mr. Rogers, who is a children's show host who's been very impactful on a whole lot of generations of American kids, I guess, because the show has been on from the 60s till the early 2000s.
Yeah.
But the film is not actually about Tom Hanks' character, Fred Rogers. It's about the guy interviewing him and doing a piece on him for Esquire magazine, which is an interesting kind of take on the whole thing, but I think it would have been more interesting just to see more of Tom Hanks and his character, just because it's the more interesting story, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't seen this. I was always wondering why Tom Hanks was supporting actor in that movie. I never knew why.
It's less about his life and more about... You only really see him when he talks to the journalist, and you kind of see less about what his life is like and more about what he is like as a person, because the interviewer seems to be a very hard kind of guy who does these very tough pieces on people, so tries to expose them and tries to portray them in the worst light possible. But with Mr. Rogers, he's kind of stumped because he just sees what a genuinely nice person he seems to be and just really care about people and especially children. So it's kind of sweet to see. And you got Chris Cooper in there as the father of
Jake Gyllenhaal?
no, of Matthew Rice, who plays the leading character.
Okay. See, that makes sense. I thought it was like the real guy who played the real interviewer.
No. The real guy, they even changed his name.
Matthew Rhys.
Yeah.
That's
Plays
the guy who, he's in Burnt. He's the rival chef in Burnt.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
It's been a long time now.
He's Kerry Russell's husband, isn't he?
Is he? Maybe.
I think that's the guy. Yeah, Matthew, I think it's Rhys.
Rhys, maybe Rhys. He's from Wales,
Yes.
as far as I'm aware, and I think he plays in The Americans or something like that.
with Kerry Russell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've never seen the show, to be honest.
Did
Is
I
it
say
good?
Kerry Russell before?
Yeah.
Okay, thank God. So what the hell did I say? I didn't see it. No, I just know that they worked together and sort of got to know each other there.
I mean, if you haven't seen A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, I think now is a good time to watch it just because it's so cheap on Amazon Prime. And it's a very interesting film, but it wasn't what I expected just because I was hoping for more Tom Hanks and knew that he was nominated as Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
And which kind of threw me off because I was like, all right, I just assumed as soon as Tom Hanks is in something, he's the leading actor.
Well, yeah.
But he's still very good, and his scenes are just the most interesting in the film because Mr. Rogers seems to be a very interesting person and just really trying to be a good person. And it's very heartwarming.
I watched the documentary when it came out 2 years ago.
It came out very close to the release or like.
Well, I think it was
premiere
like a year
of Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood.
I think.
Yeah, all right.
I think so. Yeah, it's called "Won't You Be My Neighbor."
Right.
And that's literally a documentary. There's no like actors portraying anyone there. And that's an excellent documentary. I can highly recommend that. And that's why I was also interested in the movie, but I just haven't gotten around to it. And I honestly didn't know that it was now. I mean, I could have figured. I think I saw like the Blu-ray on Amazon UK like a couple of months ago, but I haven't checked the German Amazon in a while for this.
Yeah, I came across it more by accident, to be honest. Just flipping through Amazon Prime, looking for something to watch. But
Did you want to watch A Beautiful Day? That is a niche reference. Do you know what the movie that is?
A Beautiful Day. I'm not sure.
Isn't that the German title for You Were Never Really Here?
Ah, right. Yeah, that's on Netflix right now. It's a great film.
Isn't that called like A Beautiful Day?
I think, which is a weird fucking name for that kind of film. I guess it's supposed to be kind of ironic, but
I don't know. Yeah, I never understand quote unquote German translations of English movie titles. They don't do it all the time, but when they do it, it's fantastic.
I think they just try to pick something that's easier to understand, but You Were Never Really Here isn't that complicated. So come on.
And it's not really about a beautiful day.
No, it isn't. It isn't.
People just walking into that movie are expecting like a lovely movie.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Those poor
nice
people.
Family movie. Right. I only got one honorable. Well, I'm saving one thing for next week because I haven't quite finished it.
All right.
Nice little tease. You know me. I like to look forward to that.
Can you tell us if it's a show or a film that you haven't finished?
No.
So mysterious.
Yeah.
Ooh. All right.
It's the Sam Morril special. We'll talk about it again next week. No. Have you watched Some Good News? The Return of Some Good News?
With Duanta?
Yes.
I've seen the thumbnail, but I haven't watched the episode.
Yeah, I stopped watching that. I mean, obviously, the show itself stopped months ago. But I hadn't watched like the last couple episodes. But now I saw that it returned for Christmas time with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as a guest. I watched that one, and it's just Krasinski back to doing what he did. I mean, I can't bash it in any way. No, he spreads joy and good vibes, and that's good. That's needed.
That's beautiful. Yeah, he seems like just a good dude.
He does, and it's together with The Rock. They sort of well, they help one very likable father who went viral when he had to sell every one of his collectibles because he needed some money to buy presents for his kids.
Oh, that's cute.
And they heard about that, and then Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Dwayne Claus, swooped in and helped him out. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What kind of collectibles?
Just he's been a collector for years, and it's just he's got a lot of stuff that he had to sell. Okay. He put it up on eBay. I don't even know it. I forgot what it was now because Ryan Reynolds. My gosh, my brain. John Krasinski tried to buy them on eBay, and he wouldn't sell it to him because he obviously made like a new account, Krasinski, and he felt like it wasn't a reliable buyer. he didn't obviously know who it was. Mm-hmm. Then he sort of confronted him in the video where he's like, I tried to buy it off you to help you, but you wouldn't sell it to me. Yeah, I forgot what it was now. I don't know.
He was collecting PS5s.
Yeah, he was. He started very late.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't know if that show is now returning on a weekly basis. I don't think so. I
would assume not.
He'll be back when the next crisis hits or whatever.
Yeah, when the shit hits
John
the fan.
Krasinski is back. Yeah.
See you in World War III.
What are the good news today? but Clooney was the weatherman in that episode, which is fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean this guy's got connections, doesn't he?
He does, yeah.
Yeah. I saw him in something. What was that? Oh, I rewatched the movie, and Krasinski was in that. Oh, what was it? Oh, that's gonna bother me. He's in the Holiday. John Krasinski. Yeah. Did you not know? Did you not notice? Because you watched it as well, didn't you? I know you didn't like it, but
forgot pretty much all of the film's plot. So
but it's not the plot. He's the cutter for Cameron Diaz when they cut together the movie trailer.
Right. Yeah.
It's John Krasinski. Yeah, in a very. I think he's got one scene.
Yeah.
Anyway,
a great scene. Yeah, the best scene, one might say.
Yeah. One might say that. Let's get into it. Do you have anything else, or are we just going to talk about the pick?
I think we can just go to the pick.
Yes. As I said, I was contemplating whether or not I should talk about the thing I'm now going to talk about next week, because that is rivaling my pick.
Right.
So it's a good thing. But now, because I'm going to talk about it next week when I finished it, I don't have a choice. I have one pick, and it's a good one. And my pick of the week is Soul, which I assume is your pick too.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, do you wanna tell everyone what it is about? You're good at these summaries.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, yeah, Soul is the new Pixar film, which is now premiering on Disney Plus, and it's about a jazz musician in today's times, and he's got a teaching position, but he's always dreamt of becoming a successful jazz musician. He's now a middle-aged man and still chasing these dreams, and he finally got his shot, but as soon as he landed that opportunity, he runs into a bit of trouble by dying and now being stuck in the afterworld and trying not to go to heaven or the afterworld, and then kind of comes to the before time of souls where dead people are brought to mentor souls to kind of find their spark so they can be sent out to the world and become new human beings. And there's a bit of a mix-up in his task of bringing the spark to a very unwilling soul voiced by Tina Fey, and the main character, of course, being voiced by Jamie Foxx. And it's about his own spark of being a jazz musician and trying to inspire a new soul, and about how beautiful life is and how worth living life is. And that's pretty much what the film is about.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Shall we roll a clip?
Yes, please.
What is this place?
What's your name, honey?
I'm Joe. I teach middle school band. Got it, go for it! Today started out as the best day of my life.
Back here tonight, first show's at 7.
Yes! Woohoo! Joe Gardner. I did it. I got the gig.
Must have been sudden for you.
Wow! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Help! I'm not done! Oh my goodness! Huh? Is this heaven?
No, it's the great before. This is where new souls get their personalities, quirks, and interests before they go to Earth.
Meet 22.
I don't want to go to Earth.
Stop fighting this.
I don't want to.
All right, so that was a clip of the trailer for Soul, and yeah, I'm interested in this discussion now. Did you love this?
I liked it. I really did love it in the sense of I loved a couple of scenes so much. It wasn't my favorite Pixar film, but it's still a very good film in my opinion.
Okay, I
How
would
about
agree
you?
with that. I would agree
Yeah?
with that. I did not love it.
All right.
Especially because I was hoping for so much more, so many
Jazz.
more jazz scenes.
Yeah, me too.
Jazz.
Jazz hands.
Because when the movie started, like the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he, quote unquote, dies, and it sounds so wrong, but he falls down a hole, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I didn't quite, I saw the trailer, I saw the first trailer when it came out, which was like 8 or 9 months ago. And to be honest, I kind of forgot what it was about because I didn't watch a trailer before I watched it now.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't refresh the trailer in my mind, from my mind. Don't know what I'm trying to say. I had no idea what the movie was about, basically.
Yeah.
And I thought it was
I got
about
it,
a
yeah.
soul musician and also about his soul. Great little play of words there, which I guess it is, right? I mean, jazz is a form of soul, maybe.
Yeah, I'm not sure on the complete differences between the genres and the subgenres, but I guess.
I guess, yeah. But as I said, I think the first 10 minutes I was like, and I love this. I mean, just the opening with the Disney logo and just like a school band playing the music terribly.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to him being a teacher and just being very desperate because no one is playing. It's like a School of Rock a little bit, no?
Yeah, a bit with one good student.
With one, sorry? Yeah, with one,
good student.
Right, right. But yeah, I mean, so I was a bit because when he falls in that hole, it's like a completely different movie. You got the sort of real life aspect of the movie, and then as you said, he's trying not to get to the great beyond, but then he escapes, and then he gets to the great before, or whatever it was called, right?
Yeah,
and those are two from the design as well, two completely different movies,
And yeah, talking about
sorry, no, go on.
Just the two different designs, the scenes that take place in the real world. It just reminds me every time when the film started, I was like, dude, Disney films or Pixar films get better every time. This is amazing how this looks. If you kind of compare this to a Pixar film 5 years ago, there's a world difference, and it's so well made. Jesus Christ, no wonder the after credits are 15 minutes long.
Yeah,
I looked this up. The film is 1 hour and 45 minutes, and about 10 to 15 minutes are just the credits.
Yeah, it is incredible. I mean, some of the pictures are like photorealistic.
Yeah,
it's really incredible. I will never understand how people do that. I know there's an art behind it, but my brain can't comprehend how it works.
It's crazy.
But I was hoping for more scenes in the real world rather than in this sort of inside-outy type of world. Would you agree with that?
I would, yeah. I would have also loved to see more scenes of him just playing music and being in the real world, just because it's just so great to look at as well.
I mean, I assume because we just played the trailer and that's not really giving away much, but it also has like a body swap element to it, which I didn't love. Because I feel like that was... Pixar movies always manage to impress me just in terms of their originality. It's incredible what they come up with. Every single time. You can watch every Pixar movie and you're going to be surprised and amazed by the things they come up with. And I was just sort of like, that whole body swap element I didn't love. I felt like it was just, I'd seen that before.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think they kind of turned around, especially towards the end.
Absolutely.
They had a very good reason for doing that, and I think it just really tied the movie together with that kind of lesson and
Yes.
moral that they showed through that.
I agree. I mean, the scene, we're not spoiling anything, don't worry about it. But the scene at the sort of towards the end where he's at the piano at his home,
Yeah.
that was amazing.
Yeah.
So beautiful. And yeah,
Pixar films are a real tearjerker.
They are. I saw someone because I rewatched the trailer now after I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a comment, because when the first trailer dropped like 8 or 9 months ago, there's like a comment of like, when are we gonna get like a Ratatouille kind of Pixar film, just like a like a feel good story, not just like a life contemplating what is this the whole thing about, like just like a shut your brain off and enjoy, not just like have traumas after the movie.
Well, Onward was also quite sweet. Wasn't too serious, was it? I mean,
it's
it
about
did have a dad.
Yes,
but that's like a Disney classic, isn't it?
I guess.
Very tragic backstory.
Yeah. Let's talk about the cast of Soul. I mean, you mentioned Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey.
Yeah.
You got Graham Norton. I mean, I did not know who was in that movie, and I instantly recognized Graham Norton's voice. I was like, why? Not why. I think he's cast perfectly for that role. You didn't like
pause. I think I have to pause the film. Was like, dude, I know this fucking voice. And I just repeated different lines in this guy's voice in my head, and was like, dude, who is he? Who is it? And I finally realized it.
Yeah,
and he was good. He was good. But I think my highlight was more David Iota.
Who's that?
He isn't that his name? David Iota.
Richard Ayoade.
That would be very
embarrassing if
that's his name.
That is the best thing you've ever said.
Thank you so much. Is it
Richard?
I thought it was
Richard Ayoade, the guy who directed Submarine.
Well, yeah, Richard Ayoade. Well.
Don't cut this.
I won't. Richard Ayoade. I think he was more of my highlight in this film.
I was just about to mention him because another one of those instantly recognizable voices. I was like, how did they think of Richard Ayoade for this movie? I mean, people might know him from the IT Crowd. He's Moss in the IT Crowd, and
I think he's done a lot since. I guess maybe just a couple of people at Pixar maybe are just fans of him, and he is a good comedian,
absolutely.
just in how he delivers his lines.
Yeah,
I think that's perfect for his role right here.
So like the funniest scene for me was also towards the end where he's like distracting Terry, who's voiced by the New Zealand woman from Hunt for the Wilder People.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Another one of those voices was like, that has to be her. I think she was also in Thor Ragnarok, wasn't she? Because she's obviously working with Waititi a couple of times.
Could be, yeah.
I think so.
Who was the other Jerry voice?
Sorry, she was the assistant, not the assistant, but for Jeff Goldblum. It's all coming full circle.
Right.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Her name, Rachel House.
Okay. Well, because pretty much everybody is named Jerry in this kind of afterworld.
Well, Jerry or Terry.
I guess. Jerry or Terry. But there's the other Jerry. The Jerry Jamie Foxx's character first meets. Who's she voiced by?
I didn't
her
know
voice
her.
Seemed so familiar.
I agree. And then I looked it up and I didn't... I looked up... I looked for her name in the credits and it didn't ring a bell. And let's have a look. Alice Braga.
Maybe she did a lot of voice work for Pixar.
That could be.
Also talking about the people who worked on this film, Pete Docter is is the director, and that's the best last name ever. This should be illegal, but alright, because it's written Doc and then T-E-R, not O-R, but it's a good name. But he's done Inside Out and Monsters, Inc. and Up. So he's done a whole lot of cool Pixar films, and I think he's also one of the original screenwriters for Toy Story. Yeah. So he's done a whole lot of cool things.
Absolutely. He's one of the Pixar greats.
Yeah.
Along with...
John Lasseter.
Yes, and Andrew Stanton, I think.
Yeah. I think
isn't Andrew Stanton the guy who did the... What did he do? WALL-E?
Yes, could be.
I think so. Finding Nemo, yeah.
All right, but yeah, then what's her name? You said
Which one now?
Allison or whatever. Jerry.
Jerry. I didn't. Alice Braga.
Alice Braga. Okay.
I don't know her. She was in I Am Legend.
Yeah, right. Elysium.
Yeah.
All right, no idea.
What were some of your favorite scenes?
Well, I think when he first plays jazz at the club together with,
Oh yeah,
I forgot her name. That was very cool. Just of him kind of getting into the zone.
What was her name?
Dorothy something.
Williamson?
Could be.
Dorothy? Yeah, I think you're right with Dorothy. Keep talking, I'll look it up.
Yeah. But I think also one of the last scenes, just because it's a tearjerker, I'm not going to say what the scene is really about, just with the leaf falling from the tree. That was a very touching scene. And
yeah.
Yeah,
It didn't quite
I think
get
it was
me.
sweet. And
it was,
just in the before time, there are a lot of good jokes just built in. Also with 22, who's the soul that Jamie Foxx's character wants to, of course, kind of give a spark to, or kind of help him get back to the real world so he can continue playing jazz. And there's this very funny joke, in my opinion, where he has Soul 22, like, why do you sound like a middle-aged woman? And she's like, well, this is a hypothetical, right? So I could sound any way I like. I can sound like a cute kid or an angry man. But this voice just seems to annoy most people. So, all right, that's a good point.
It's a nice way of sort of addressing the fact that Tina Fey is voicing a apparently young soul. I know she's like thousands of years old or whatever, but yeah. I think you said Dorothea, right? Did you say Dorothea?
Dorothy.
Yeah, I think.
Or is it Dorothea?
Dorothea. It only says her first name on
Right.
IMDb. Voiced by
Right.
Angela Bassett.
Oh, cool.
And you also got Daveed Diggs voicing a character who is Lafayette in Hamilton.
I saw that after I watched the movie, and then I
had
didn't
no
know
idea.
who he voiced.
He voiced Paul, which I think is the guy from the barber shop who's like mistakenly taken to the afterworld.
Yeah, that's a cool scene as well.
Yeah, I think that's him.
What was one of your favorite scenes?
I can tell you my favorite scene, the whole thing.
Please go ahead.
No, I won't. No. When he first
Spoilers.
drops, no spoilers. When he first drops into the sort of the path to the great beyond, it's great. It's such great visuals that as well. It looks incredible. But there's like this one where he's like, "What is going on? Where am I?" And then he decides to turn around and run away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the music kicks in. And I'm not lying to you. Literally after 1 second, I paused it and I was like, this is Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, who did the music, who I've talked about many times before, my favorite composers, my favorite movie composers. I paused it, I looked on IMDb, and then I sort of also, once I heard it, it made like a click. I was like, yes, I also was looking forward to Soul so much because the music was done by them. And
I think we talked about it before even.
Yeah?
On an episode,
so.
yeah, I think so. Pretty sure.
We only talked about Soul last week, didn't we?
Yeah, but I think because you talked about Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and you talked about Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and then you kind of mentioned Soul, I think. But I'm not.
They don't have anything to do with Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Didn't they do the song? Or because of Social Network? Maybe because of one of our specials? Yeah.
I don't think I did, but maybe.
Who knows, yeah.
I just love the music. And that scene, I was like, because that was also like part of the first like 10 to 15 minutes where I was completely in love with the movie. And then the Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross music kicked in. And I was like, okay, we're in for something great here. And then, as I said before, I was hoping for more real life scenes, more jazz scenes, more music scenes, because there were like 2 in there, right?
Yeah.
Very La La Landy, those scenes, weren't they?
Yeah, just reminding you of the magic of jazz, I guess.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
dude, jazz is amazing.
It might be wrong to say now that every jazz thing is going to be associated with La La Land, but that's just the way it is in my brain right now.
Yeah, it's this joke, right? A white man explaining jazz to black people. That's La La Land.
Yeah, that is La La Land. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's from Between Two Ferns, isn't it?
It might be, yeah.
I think he asked John Legend what it was like for.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Good memories Between Two Ferns. I am finding it hard to. I mean, I liked it, and the very ending was very abrupt once again, wasn't it? I mean, it's just like, okay, and it's over. Soul.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of questions for the end, which I'm not going to go into now. But it's not going to crack like my top 3 Pixar films. I don't know why I'm being that specific, but
What would you say is like in the top 3? I'm interested because they're like 20. We could do a special at some point, I guess, because I think this is the 23rd Pixar film, which is a lot.
I think you're right, something like that. Yeah. Well, now
or 24th.
Immediately I'm thinking of
Incredibles.
No,
really?
I'm gonna be. I loved Coco.
Dude, Coco was amazing. Yeah.
Coco.
That's a fucking tearjerker.
It is. Coco. I liked Onward a lot. I know I'm kind of I know you liked it too, but I think we're kind of in the minority there. Maybe it's the recency factor too that I'm thinking of that. But from the classics, it's good, I mean, I don't know. What about you?
I don't know. There's a lot of nostalgia, of course, as well involved. So just Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo are just special to me, but I think Monsters Inc. even more so.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, Incredibles, which is I think the first memory I have of ever going to the cinema. And I remember, I think we got this little keychain when we went to the movie. We bought popcorn or whatever, and on this keychain you got these pictures, and if you hold them in a different angle, the picture changes.
Right.
And we got Jack the Baby and Samuel L. Jackson's character Frozone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you kind of tilted it, it went from being the normal person to being the masked hero.
Right.
Which was pretty cool, and I still remember that. And afterwards, we went to get a kebab. Pretty good.
It's a wonderful, wonderful anecdote. Thank you.
I had my first falafel. I still remember that for some reason. Yeah, but
I like the way you said that.
Yeah, I think Incredibles and Monsters Inc. are just I gotta be in my top 3.
Interesting. I would throw a Ratatouille in there.
I'm not a huge fan of Ratatouille as everybody else is.
Okay.
It's a good film, but I wouldn't agree that's in the best Pixar. I think it wouldn't be in my top 5 even.
What's your favorite Toy Story?
3, I think.
Okay, that's very basic.
Yeah, I guess. I
bitch.
I know. I
No,
rewatched them all 3 of them like 1 or 2 years ago, and I noticed that I find them getting increasingly better. I find
Really?
the second one better than the first one, and the third one better than the second one. Although I may even like the second one the most. It's difficult. Just the ending of 3 is just so much, and I don't know.
What was the ending of the second one?
Yeah, in the second one, you got Woody is being kind of abducted by a toy collector, and then I don't want to see the ending, I guess. But
come on, I mean,
people try to rescue him, and I don't know exactly what the ending is.
Okay,
but it's them rescuing him, and of course, and then spoilers. The what's his name? Anyway, he meets like 2 new toys or 3, like the horse, the cowgirl, and the prospector. That's his name. And he kind of betrays them, and then they're at the airport because he's about to be shipped, and the prospector wants to get shipped because he wants to be kind of immortal, I think, like in a museum held up high. And the other ones want to rescue the others because they want to be played with because, they're toys. So yeah, that's the second one. I think that's a very cool story. You got this kind of villain with the villain of Buzz Lightyear's show turning up, which is very cool. And this very cool scene of Woody being restored.
Yes, that is a great scene.
Yeah.
I think the first one might be my favorite.
Yeah, I think it's very cool, and it's revolutionary. I mean, that is the film that introduced the animated category in the Academy Awards and made like animated films big again. But it is an old film now. It didn't hold up that much, but just if you gotta keep that in mind, like the first big 3D animated film, it's amazing.
Yeah, I would agree also that the third one is. I think the first and the third are the best, I would say. I'm just going through the IMDb, the Pixar movie lists. I mean, it's just incredible.
I wasn't a fan of Good Dinosaur.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I think we talked about this before. Yeah. I remember. Inside Out was great. First movie we saw together? No.
It was the
Second.
first sneak. It was
Night
the
of
first
Cups.
sneak. Yeah.
Night of Cups. Who could forget Night of Cups?
Yeah, who
I
could
could. Well, Wall-E, I haven't seen in years. I know that I love that movie.
It's very good. Yeah.
But the whole like Finding Nemo, Finding Dory thing, I was never that big a fan of.
Yeah. Having rewatched Finding Nemo, it's not as good as I remember it being, but I just absolutely adored that film when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And
enough.
also, what was the film? Up.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of Up.
Me
It's
neither.
good, but
I like the
It's
first
like
20 minutes.
the hype. Yeah, right. And then on the island, it kind of drags on.
It really does.
But yeah,
It's just-
it's Pixar.
Yeah, they have an incredible catalog of movies, and
Yeah.
it's another one of those. I talk about this a lot, where like movies that cinephiles or that movie lovers watch, and then there's Pixar movies that are sort of broken that thing. Everyone watches Pixar movies,
Yeah.
and good on them, and good on Pixar, and good on the people who watch them because they know how great these movies are.
Dude, you can
Absolutely.
say about Disney whatever you want, but their animated division is top notch. I mean, even apart from Pixar, they get
Yeah.
so many good animated films.
I mean, speaking of Disney, I recently got sent the 2021 preview kit from my contacts at Disney. Just want to throw
Woohoo.
that out there. No, that's not like anything that. Obviously, they had like an event like 1 or 2 weeks ago where they
Mhm.
released more trailers for everything they got coming up.
Right? Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this. It's like a couple of trailers for the whole Marvel things, the WandaVision.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I guess a couple
Loki.
of those Star Wars
Right.
releases. Yeah.
I mean,
there's
it's just
so many announcements.
So many. I'm looking at a list now for 2021, and there's like
Mm.
30 things on there.
Yeah.
30 Disney productions that are coming out, and these are all just shows.
Yeah. They gotta pump up the prices very soon on Disney Plus because as far as I'm aware, like streaming services always start very low and they make millions dollars worth of losses just to kind of pull the people in, then they kind of crank up the prices. And just with what they got planned and a whole lot of high budget things, I think they're gonna crank up the prices very high and very soon.
Well, who knows if that's all like included? I mean, I know some of them will be, but as you had
Fair
with
enough, like
Mulan, you had to pay
yeah.
like $20 for it, whatever.
Maybe. It just kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, $20 is a whole lot for a film,
It's
especially if you
ridiculous.
live alone like me. So come on.
Yeah, I mean it is, but I mean it's just two sides of the sword. Now you just said it's like cheap on one end, but then you have to pay like $20 for something else.
Yeah.
But it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to some of these Marvel shows. I don't know how far into them I'll get because there's going to be so much to watch. The first one that drops is WandaVision,
Yeah.
which drops on January 15th.
I think that and Loki I'm most interested in.
Yeah, Loki looks really good, man. I watched the trailer. Oh, it looks really, really good. Yeah. But let's finish up on Soul. I mean, anything else we need to talk about? I mean, I think we both liked it a lot. For example, I prefer Onward to this.
Oh, really?
I think so.
I would still prefer Soul.
Okay.
Just because, I don't know, the animation and just the whole thing kind of swept me off my feet. But I thought the film was about something entirely different because I hadn't seen the trailers.
Right.
As always. I thought it was, since it was called Soul, and I thought the first time he kind of meets Dorothea and plays, I thought she was going to tell him, dude, he's missing soul because he's a good musician, but he just can't feel it, right?
Right.
And then he kind of has to find his soul, and I thought what the film was going to be about. But then he started playing, and I was very wrong because he seemed so nervous at the
He had
start.
soul. Yeah. You got in the zone. I love that
Yeah.
aspect of it. Yeah. And I also love the whole thing of like his former student being the one that brings him into it. Like,
Yeah.
gets him the gig. I
That's
thought that
very
was
cool.
very sweet.
Also the design and like the whole concept of a lost soul being too focused on one thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, I mean, once again,
Pixar's so smart.
what they come up with is incredible. But unfortunately for me, some of the things sort of took away from that because also like in Inside Out, you had Amy Poehler portraying like the main character of like, I think it was Joy, right?
Yep.
An emotion inside of a person. And now in the Pixar film 5 years later or whatever, you have Tina Fey, who is like sort of, you think of Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, she's portraying like a young, not emotion, but soul. And it's just, it felt like a little bit similar to that to me. Whereas other aspects of the film were original and incredible, and that sort of thing was like, I feel like it reminded me a bit too much of Inside Out. I mean, that might be a harsh criticism, but you know.
I mean, just like Marvel, it's a shared universe, all the Pixar films.
Sure, but I mean, would you not agree that those two films have a lot of similarities in that way?
I guess, yeah. But I mean, yeah, they're supposed to be kind of connected, and like this, like the just the design of the universe, I guess. But
well, and it shows like a world that we don't see.
Yeah.
Right? The inside workings, or like that's, you know, the soul is not the inside workings. Obviously, I don't know where they are, but you know.
I thought it was also interesting to the Jerrys, who are like these beings that kind of control the afterlife and the life before. I thought the design was very kind of cool. It kind of looked like a Picasso painting, or
I like the way
there's another painter.
I like the way I'm sure there is.
Yeah. Then we did like these kind of abstract art paintings.
I like the way Terry was sort of maneuvering through the real world.
Yeah.
Another great idea.
It's so hard.
Must have been ridiculous.
To animate that. Jesus Christ.
Last thing I wrote down here is that I was surprised to see this in the credits, that John Batiste was, because obviously Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the music, but the jazz arrangements were all done by John Batiste, who's the guy who plays piano in Stephen Colbert's Late Night Show.
Oh, okay.
Incredibly talented musician, known for his jazz music, and it made complete sense to see that he was the one who's responsible for all the jazz arrangements in Soul.
Yeah, I think you also got Questlove in that film somewhere as a voice actor.
Yes, I saw that just now.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize his voice.
Yeah, me neither, because I haven't seen a whole lot of interviews with him, but yeah.
Right, that's it.
Yeah, a good episode. A whole lot to talk about, and I think just Soul is a very cool pick, which I think we and a lot of other people have been looking forward to for a long time.
I'd be interested in hearing other people's opinion on this. I mean, just the general consensus is that it's excellent from what I've read. Reviews are through the roof. And rightfully so. I mean, once again, Pixar is just, they're the best at what they do, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. So if you got any opinion on Pixar or Soul especially, please tell us in the comments or on Twitter or Instagram or anywhere where we are reachable. You can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Anchor, which I haven't mentioned in a long time.
Yeah, what a nice shout out to Anchor. It's the one that started it all. At the end of the year, it gets a shout out again.
And on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, under Best Thing We've Seen podcast. You can also find us at Best Thing Radio on Instagram, on Twitter, and you can also find us on YouTube. And on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube, you can see the cover art that Flo designs every week, which is going to be our thumbnail on YouTube. Leave a like, leave a subscribe, maybe a comment. Everything helps. Just maybe tell somebody about the podcast. Maybe you know somebody who likes Disney films or Pixar films. It helps a great deal. And as always, thank you so much for listening. And if you've just heard this message, this means that you've stuck around to the very end. So thank you so much.
Well, I could have skipped just to the very end, you know.
Well, then please go back and listen to the rest.
Yeah, have a happy new year, I guess, right? Celebrate the ending of a shit year adequately.
Let's burn this mother down.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for listening in 2020. We'll be back in 2021.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to us. And yeah, like I just said, have a happy new year. Bye.
Bye-bye.